Chapter 3106. How would I know? If I knew, I wouldn't be waiting here. I would have caught him long ago. Didn't you go to China? Nalo stared into Ian's eyes, obviously not believing him. You're well informed. Ian sneered. Nalo didn't speak, he just stared at him. But since you know that I went to China, you should know that Lu Yen bombed my plane. I almost didn't make it back, okay? Aren't you still alive? You're standing here alive. Nalo's face was expressionless. Hey, my brother. Your words are always so unique and your face is always so calm. Ian smiled. Seeing that Nalo didn't speak, Ian continued, if you're here to find out where that guy is, then unfortunately I don't know where he is. I've been playing cat and mouse with Lu Yen and haven't had time to catch him. How about this? Since you're free these days, you can go and find out where he is. If you find him, you can have Hu Xiqian and I can have his sweetheart. What do you think? Do you think it's possible? If I find him, do you think I'll give him to you? Nalo sneered. Then we'll have to rely on our own abilities. Ian spread his hands, looking helpless and benevolent. Nalo turned to leave. Hey, my brother. I advise you to give up on that guy. I think a woman is more suitable for you. That thing is hard to deal with. Shut up. Fuck you. One more word and I'll tear your mouth off. Nalo turned his head abruptly and cursed at Ian. Surprisingly, Ian wasn't angry, he just smiled. Then Nalo left the building with his subordinates. After Nalo left, one of Ian's subordinates approached him cautiously. Sir, should we follow Mr. Nalo? Why? Ian glanced at his subordinate from the corner of his eyes. Mr. Nalo was so disrespectful to you. I was wondering if we should follow him and find a chance. The subordinate made a throat-slitting gesture. However, as soon as he finished, he was slapped hard by Ian and he saw stars. That's my brother. But Lord Nalo said he was going to kill you. He was just saying it out of anger. Did you really take it seriously? He and I came from the same mother's womb. How can we kill each other? Yes. Sir's right. This lowly one deserves to die. The subordinate was terrified. He wanted to win Ian's favor, but he didn't expect to anger him. He really didn't expect that a bloodthirsty guy like Ian would actually have a so-called brotherhood. This was really surprising. His subordinate scrambled to his feet and was about to leave. Ian called out to her again. Wait a minute. Sir, do you have any other orders? Find an expert to follow them. Don't be discovered. Sir. Then find a chance to kill the people around Nalo. Just kill 2 of them. Give him a warning and tell him that I'm not that easy to bully, Ian said word by word. Sir. Ian was famous for his fickleness and his mood swings. He made the decision 1 second and changed it the next second. For example, a moment ago he had bragged about his brotherhood, but in the next second he wanted to kill the people around his brother as a warning to others. On the private plane, Xiao Fei. Lu Yen ran over with a smile and sat down beside Xiao Fei. What? Xiao Fei looked at her warily. Chapter 3107. Hehe, I have a favor to ask. Lu Yen continued to smile. No. Fuck, I haven't even said what it is and you're already rejecting me. How can you do this? Lu Yen exploded. You don't have to say it. I can tell from your fawning expression that it's nothing good. Xiao Fei continued to play the game on his tablet. No way, it's just a little thing. Do you want it? Take off your clothes and lie down. I'll satisfy you after this round. Fuck you, Psycho Xiao. Are you fucking shameless? Lu Yen exploded. Xiao Fei was usually quiet and reserved, but when it came to critical moments, every word he said was a classic. Lu Yen almost fainted from anger. Ahem. At the door, one of her subordinates coughed and reminded her. Why are you standing at the door? Are you a door god? I'm in a dilemma. Should I let you get down to business first, boss, or report your new information first? What business? Lu Yen wondered what was wrong with her subordinate today. Boss, are you and young Master Qiao? You guys should do your business first. I'll come back later. Is 20 minutes enough? Then the subordinate turned around and was about to run. You fucking come back here. Lu Yen picked up a trash can and threw it at him. Luckily, the guy dodged quickly or else his head would have exploded. He had been with Lu Yen for a long time and was used to her violence. When other mercenary commanders mentioned Lu Yen, they didn't call her second young mistress. Instead, they called her Berserk Luoli. Yes, Lu Yen was young and had a delicate baby face. However, she had a violent temper and would kill at any moment. Sometimes she would use big moves and all kinds of explosives. No wonder even Ian would get a headache whenever he saw her. She was indeed the professor's daughter. In comparison, Huimin was much quieter. Ha, boss, it's true. It's okay, we're all adults. I understand. Understand my ass. Come back here or I'll break your legs, Lu Yan threatened. Qiao Fei was still calmly playing a parkour game on his tablet. He didn't even look up as if he was used to this kind of violent scene. Don't. Boss, I'll tell you right now. Speak. Lu Yan crossed her legs and glared at her subordinate. Our informant in Brazil just said that Pierce is now swimming in South Beach with a few young Brazilian models and a star player accompanying him. I wonder if we should make a move now? No need. Boss, are we just going to let him go like this? Of course not. It's just that I have something more important to do now. The plane has changed its route. We're going to Australia now. Then we can find someone to kill him in Brazil. We don't have to do it ourselves. No, Lu Yan said without hesitation. Boss, are you afraid that those people are unreliable and will ruin your plan and alert the enemy? No. I'm going to kill that bastard Pierce with my own hands and kick his head like a soccer ball. Lu Yan was furious at the mention of Pierce. Alright boss, we'll do as you say. Tell the spies in Brazil to pay attention to his movements. This bastard won't leave immediately after going to Brazil. After I'm done with my sister's matter, I'll go and cripple him. Hey boss. I'll go now. Then the guy turned and ran, not daring to waste Lu Yan's time. After her subordinate left, Lu Yan looked back. She smiled hypocritically. Young Master Qiao, can you do me a small favor? Chapter 3108. No. Qiao Fei still refused mercilessly. If you don't agree, I won't be friends with you. Captain, are we in Syria? Ask this guy to get off the plane, Lu Yan said deliberately. Hearing this, Qiao Fei put down the tablet on the table. Hey my lady, are you kidding me? If I don't agree, you'll turn on me. Are you a female bandit? No, I'm a bandit, one level higher than a bandit. Thank you. Lu Yan smiled shamelessly. Qiao Fei, do you love me or not? Qiao Fei, if I say I love you, you'll take advantage of me. If I say I don't love you, you'll ask me to get off the plane. So do I love you or not? Qiao Fei was dumbfounded. Are you fucking funny? I'm dying of laughter. I haven't seen you in such a good mood in a long time. It seems you're determined to rescue Sister Mian this time. Qiao Fei knew that Lu Yan must know that she could save Hua Mian if she laughed so heartlessly. That's right. I'll see my sister soon. I don't want her to go home yet. Where are we going? Qiao Fei was puzzled. To my place. My sister rarely comes out. I want to treat her to a meal of cobra meat, to satisfy my craving. Qiao Fei, Sister Mian is so quiet. Don't scare her, okay? Anyway, I want to treat my sister well. Let's rescue her first. We don't know which island she's hiding on. Qiao Fei sighed slightly. As long as she's in Australia, it'll be easy. In Australia, I have connections with both the government and the mafia. I have friends in both. Lu Yan was very confident. Then she sat down beside Qiao Fei and hugged his arm coquettishly. Qiao Fei, don't you want to do me a little favor? Just one. Qiao Fei lowered his head and glanced at the view under Lu Yan's collar. If you want to seduce me, I'll think about it. Damn it. You're trying to take advantage of me again. Lu Yan immediately knocked his head. Hey, stop messing around. What do you want me to do? Tell me. Qiao Fei finally gave in to Lu Yan. So you agree. Cut the crap. Qiao Fei didn't want to waste any more time with her. It's like this. I'll go first. Don't get too excited after I finish. I know it's not a good thing from your foreshadowing. Qiao Fei glanced at Lu Yan. Hee. I'll tell you what happened. Then Lu Yan told him about the incident. No, I won't do it. Qiao Fei's face darkened. Oh, just this once, okay? Lu Yan continued to act cute. I'm not doing it. It's too embarrassing. Qiao Fei shook his head. What are you afraid of? This isn't Russia. Not many people know you. Why don't you look for someone else? Why me? Qiao Fei wondered. Because you're the most good-looking among us. Are you kidding me? I'm not as good-looking as you. Why don't you do it yourself? Qiao Fei said angrily. But that old guy doesn't like women. He's always lusted after men, so you're willing to give your man away. Just as bait. I'm not really giving him away, Lu Yan said. Are you really willing to do that? Xiao Fei looked angry. I can't catch the wolf without risking the child. Lu Yan looked innocent. Chapter 3109. Aren't you afraid that the baby will die before you can trap the wolf? Pooh. Don't say such ominous things. You won't. I have faith in you, Psycho Qiao. You're quite handsome. Xiao Fei, come on, Psycho Qiao. Just this once? Lu Yan kept flirting with him. Lu Yan's subordinate stood outside the cabin door. What's going on inside? Our boss is flirting with young Master Qiao? Someone asked. Does the boss still want to eat wontons? Xiao Fei won't give her a bag? Of course not. I heard it for a while and it seems like the boss wants young Master Qiao to seduce an old guy. So scary? Yeah. It must be related to the boss's sister. This old psycho is a big shot in Australia and is in charge of investigating all the islands. I see. Poor young Master Qiao. The boss is willing to let him go? I think the boss is just stalling for time. She doesn't really want young Master Qiao to seduce the old guy. Okay. Small shrimps like us don't understand the world of the masters. South Hill Manor Qin Chu took the last flight out of Sea City and transferred to Australia to save Huamin. He had no time to waste. Late at night, Qin Ning felt hot and couldn't sleep. She went downstairs for a cup of coffee and chatted with Tang Chuan on WeChat. Baby Ning, why aren't you asleep? I can't sleep. Hehe, are you thinking of this young master? You're shameless again. But I miss you so much. When will you move back? Did I promise you I would move back? You can't do this to me. I felt the warmth of the world while you lived here. Don't be ridiculous. I'm not the virtuous type. I can't mop the floor, wash the clothes, or cook. The most I can do is make you instant noodles. Qin Ning chuckled. Even if it's just instant noodles, it's still delicious. You're such a smooth talker. To be honest, come back quickly. Don't move away. We can live together. Are you trying to take advantage of me again? Of course I'm taking advantage of you. I'm not Lu Shahui. Besides, normal men would have some improper thoughts when they see the woman they love. If you continue to torture me like this, I'll suffocate to death. Then I'll suffocate to death. If I suffocate to death, you'll become a widow. Don't talk nonsense. As soon as Qin Ning replied, she heard footsteps coming down the stairs. She quickly put down her phone and looked up. It was Pudding. Pudding, what time is it? Why aren't you sleeping? Qin Ning was surprised. And where's my daddy? Your daddy? Qin Ning didn't have the heart to say it. Her brother had just been discharged from the hospital, but he had left in the middle of the night. Would the child feel very disappointed and insecure? I just went to his room and found that there was no one. The room was very clean. Even his phone and razor were gone. Where did my daddy go? Did you go somewhere far away? Pudding calmly asked a lot of questions. Qin Ning had to admit that the child was very attentive. She noticed all these details. Yeah. Pudding, come here. Auntie wants to talk to you. Qin Ning waved her hand and called Pudding over. Pudding was wearing a white cotton nightgown. Her long hair hung down. Although she was young, she was already stunningly beautiful. Your daddy did go somewhere far away. He told you not to worry. When he comes back, he'll take your mommy with him. I knew daddy went to save mommy. Why aren't you sleeping? What time is it? I asked Handsome Sue to video chat. You asked Suyu to video chat? What time is it? I have something to talk to him about, Pudding said seriously. Just then Pudding's phone rang. It was a video chat invitation from Suyu. Chapter 3110. Auntie, I'm going to take this call. Pudding walked upstairs with her phone in her hand. Kid, you're being so mysterious behind my back. Qin Ning chuckled and continued texting Tang Chuan. Pudding walked to the second-floor hallway and sat on the balcony looking out at the night sky. South Hill Manor was designed by Qin Chu with great care. Although it was a castle-like house, it wasn't scary at all. Instead, it looked like a fairy tale. Every night, the colorful lights outside the window lit up, and there was a musical fountain. It made people feel very comfortable. Handsome Sue. Pudding picked up the video call and leaned her petite body against the pillar behind her. Wow, why is it so dark over there? Suyu asked. As I'm on the balcony. It's a little dark here. Why don't you go back to your room? It's very windy at night, Suyu asked with concern. My sister fell asleep. I was going to go upstairs, but I saw Auntie texting Uncle Tang. Okay. Do you want to put on some clothes? Oh, I'm not cold. Kid, why did you video call me so late at night? Handsome Sue, are you at home now? Yeah. Don't you see the study behind me? Suyu zoomed in on the study, afraid that Pudding wouldn't believe him. Are you alone at home? Of course. Don't you know what kind of person your Uncle Sue is? Suyu laughed. He thought that even Tang Chuan often made fun of him for being single. His friends were all couples. Only Suyu was the kindest third wheel wherever he went. It's okay. I was just asking. After all, I don't want anyone to know what I'm about to say. What's the matter? Why are you being so secretive? Suyu thought that whatever Pudding was thinking about, it must be something big. Pudding wasn't as greedy as Little Bean. She was more like an adult and knew how to plan for her future. Did anyone take over Hua Xiqian's company? Pudding asked. Oh, that's good. Pudding nodded happily. You want it? Yes. Suyu was a little surprised. Pudding, why do you want that crappy company? It's just an empty shell. Didn't you sell all the shares I asked you to? Yes, I have a lot of cash now. So, that's why I want to set up a company to play with, Pudding said seriously. Girl, you're still young. Why do you have to worry about the company? You're not short of money. Your family can't spend all of your daddy's company even if you spend 10 lifetimes, okay? Suyu thought that Pudding was looking for trouble. That's different. Daddy's company is daddy's and I want my own. I don't want to do much, I just want to be a venture capitalist and speculate in the stock market. Even though Hua Xiqian's company went bankrupt, its foundation is still there. I want to take it over and operate it directly. Also, it's the Hua family's business and my mommy's surname is Hua, so it shouldn't fall into the hands of an outsider. Hua Xinghai betrayed my grandma, so it's reasonable that I want to take over. Seeing that Suyu didn't support her, Pudding analyzed the pros and cons. Suyu was speechless. Pudding, even if the Hua Corporation is an empty shell company, it still needs a lot of money. Do you have that much money? Suyu asked. Chapter 31:11. No, Pudding said innocently. So I'm going to borrow it from you. Suyu, handsome Sue, you won't refuse to lend it to me, right? Pudding blinked her big adorable eyes. Huh. No. I'll definitely lend it to you. Hey. So I need you to give me the preliminary data. I'll ask the company to make a detailed report for you. But, Suyu hesitated. But what? Although the Hua Corporation is a mess, there are still many profiteers eyeing it. I believe in handsome Sue's ability. It won't be hard for you to help me take over the Hua Corporation. Pudding was very confident. That's true. But as for the legal name of the company, who do you plan to use? After all, you're too young to use your daddy's or mommy's names. It'll be too eye-catching and will be on the news. I know. I've thought about it. I'll use my grandma's name. Suyu, not many people are familiar with my grandma's name. Besides, Hua Xinghai owed my grandma back then. Okay, you win. Suyu was surprised that a child could be so thoughtful. In that case, it'll be easy. I'll give you the data tomorrow and contact the company to help you take over the company as soon as possible. Okay. Pudding nodded. Then go to sleep, it's already so late. Be careful of your panda eyes. Suyu felt a little sleepy, but the little one sitting across from him seemed to be very energetic. Handsome Sue. Yeah. My daddy went to Australia overnight. She went to Australia? Suyu was surprised. Yeah. I think he found out where my mommy is. Damn. Why didn't anyone tell me about this? Suyu was surprised. You know how my daddy does things. He didn't tell anyone. He only told my auntie a few words. I only found out about it later. Is it too late if I go now? Suyu was anxious. You don't have to go. Handsome Sue, just stay at home and guard the back. My daddy is afraid that someone will attack us. How could that be? Who would dare? I'm going to skin him alive. I just want to say that you don't have to worry, Handsome Sue. I believe that my mommy will come back safe and sound soon. Of course. Who's your mommy? She's the mighty and domineering Dr. Hua. Suyu smiled gently. That's right. Every time he mentioned Huamin, even if it was just her name, Suyu would feel as if spring had come and flowers had bloomed. My daddy's trip to Australia must have been planned. There will be people there to help him, so we just have to wait for mommy to come back. Yes. Suyu nodded. Good night, Handsome Sue. When the data comes out tomorrow, just ask your secretary to email me the electronic version. I'll discuss the follow-up with you after I read it. Okay, our female entrepreneur, Suyu teased her on purpose. He had known since she was little that she had a good head for business. It seemed like someone would inherit Qin-Chu's billion-yuan fortune. Suyu suddenly envied Qin-Chu, who had a daughter and could do anything. He even secretly fantasized about when he would have a child of his own. It would be best if it was a daughter. He also liked girls. On the deserted island when it was about time, Huamin went to the basement again. Little sister Myung, why do you keep going back and forth like this? Huasiqian smiled. Don't you feel uncomfortable? Huamin tilted his head and asked. What do you mean? He frowned slightly. What do you think, Jack? Did you enjoy pretending to be Huasiqian? Huamin smiled faintly. Chapter 31:12. Little sister Myung, what do you mean? Jack continued to pretend. You think you can fool me just because you're good at pretending? You want me to let you go? Jack, do you think I'm an idiot? Not bad. Huamin, it seems like I underestimated you. Jack sneered and slowly stood up. The chains on his body also made clanking noises. In this basement it was unusually frightening. You think you did it perfectly? Yeah, I think I imitated him very well. I didn't expect you to see through me. Take a look at this. Huamin took out an empty medicine bottle. Jack frowned slightly. I'm a doctor. I know better than you what this medicine is for. Jack didn't speak. If Huasiqian didn't run out of medicine, you wouldn't have taken the opportunity to come out, right? How dare you continue to pretend to be Huasiqian in front of me? Don't you think it's funny? Fine woman, you're good. You even saw through me. What do you want? I want to leave this place, Huamin said. Easy. I told you let me go first. Then I'll call my subordinates and let us go together. Isn't that good? Don't lie to me. If I let you go I'd be dead. Would I still be here talking to you? Jack, let's not talk nonsense. I can't let you go. Huamin already knew how dangerous Jack was and wouldn't listen to his slanderous words. In the past few days he had cursed Huamin with all kinds of nasty words. Jack hated Huamin very much. He wasn't Huasiqian and wouldn't show mercy to a woman. If you don't let me go, how are you going to leave this place? Isn't that a dream? Jack smiled. I want you to tell me when Huasiqian's men will arrive. You want to use his men to leave? Yes. That's impossible. They won't let you go. They only take orders from Huasiqian, which is me. Jack was overjoyed. You don't have to worry about that. I have my ways. Just answer my questions. Why should I answer your question? Who do you think you are? She's just a self-righteous, arrogant bitch. Jack looked at Huamin fiercely as if he wanted to kill her. You're not going to tell me? Very good. Then don't blame me for being rude. After speaking, Huamin slowly sat down across from Jack. Then he took out a very small box from behind him. What's that? Jack had a bad feeling. What a coincidence. Although the birds don't lay eggs and the rabbits don't poop on this deserted island, there are actually many strange snakes, rats and insects. This little centipede is so beautiful. Its whole body is blood red. If it bites you, it will be very interesting. After hearing Huamin's words, Jack's expression changed drastically. Don't worry, it won't kill you. At most, it'll make you wish you were dead. This little guy's poison is very strong. If it bites you, your body will slowly fester. But it won't let you die so quickly. When every inch of your skin rots, you'll die in pain like a mummy. Bitch, you're so vicious. Jack cursed at Huamin. Vicious? Oh no. Compared to you cold-blooded murderers, I'm very nice. I'm not a saint, but I only deal with bad people. You and Huasiqian, on the other hand, will do anything for your own benefit. People like you should have received retribution a long time ago. If I die, Huasiqian will die too. Jack reminded Huamin. Do you think I'll go easy on him? Huamin sneered. Chapter 31:13. Huamin, don't you dare. Jack jumped up in anger as he pointed at Huamin's nose and yelled at him. Why wouldn't I dare? There's only the two of us here and we don't even know where we are right now. Even if you die here, no one will find out. If Huasiqian's subordinates find out, they'll kill you too. I won't let them find out. Jack. Huamin slowly opened the box and looked at the little thing inside with a smile on his face. Little baby, don't be afraid. Go. Take good care of that man. Don't let him be bored in the basement alone. Huamin, you're too fucking evil. To think that Huasiqian treated you so well. Well, you tricked me into this place where birds don't lay eggs and rabbits don't shit. You made it so that I can't see my husband and child. If you think that's good, then I'd rather he didn't treat me so well. How can you be so heartless? Do you think that if it weren't for Hua Xiqian the child in your stomach would still be alive? Don't you think it's strange that the child in your stomach would still be alive after jumping off such a high cliff? Jack yelled at Huamin. Huamin didn't say anything. This was indeed strange. When she jumped off the cliff, her center of gravity was severely imbalanced. The impact was so high and the fetus was so fragile. Yet the fetus was still alive. Huamin didn't think it made sense. However, Hua Xiqian didn't tell her anything afterward, so she thought that perhaps the child was really lucky. Now that she heard Jack's tone, it seemed like there was something fishy that she didn't know about. That's because the wedding dress that was tailor-made for you had a cushioning layer inside. Can cushion pressure. Hua Xiqian already knew that you were pregnant, but he still wanted to protect your child. Huamin, are you really that heartless? He treated you like this, how can you bear to treat him like this? Jack seemed to know that Huamin was soft-hearted, so he wanted to use Hua Xiqian's kindness to move Huamin. To be honest, he treated me well. But he's him, you're you. Jack, don't forget you're not the same person. But we're using the same body. If you use the venomous centipede on me, he'll also suffer. Then don't blame me. There's no reason in this world. Just think of it as the law of the jungle. The strong prey on the weak. Anyway, if you don't die, I won't have a good life either. I wanted to let you live, but you didn't want to leave. Don't blame me. Let me live. Jack was puzzled. Thinking back carefully, when did Huamin say that he would let him live? Seeing that he was wavering, Huamin continued. I told you if you answer my questions properly, I'll still feed you well and ensure that you don't die. Jack, but it's fine if you don't want to tell me. Baby, go there and have a good meal. With that, Huamin placed the small box in front of Jack and was about to open it. Jack's expression changed drastically. No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you whatever you want to ask. At the last moment, Jack chickened out. This was within Huamin's expectations. Hearing this, Huamin carefully put away the box. Tell me, when will Hua Xiqian's men arrive? Within 24 hours, Jack said. What's the leader's name? Riley. I want to know his details. Riley is a white man with a high IQ. Hua Xiqian met him in Germany. Over the years, Hua Xiqian gave him a lot of money and weapons overseas. He has his own group of people in Germany. Someone like him specializes in transporting supplies? Huamin didn't believe it. He felt that Hua Xiqian was using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Chapter 31:14. Of course not. Riley is here to deliver the medicine to Hua Xiqian. Ah, I see. That's why you want me to let you go before they come to the island. Huamin finally understood why Jack was so irritable. Okay, I've said everything I need to say. Very good. Thank you. Huamin stood up with a smile. I saw how much Hua Xiqian likes you and how Qin Chu and Si you are willing to risk their lives for you. I thought you were a kind woman, but it turns out that you're just this kind of person. You're vicious and disgusting when you're not around. No, you're wrong. I've never been kind. I'm only kind to the people I love. My husband knows what kind of person I am. You don't have to feel sorry for me. Then Huamin took the small box and left the basement. When she walked out, she slowly opened the small box and smiled at the fun-looking cricket inside. Little guy, thank you. Thank you for your help just now. Then Huamin let the little cricket go. Did it really think there was a poisonous centipede in the box? No, it was just a psychological tactic to scare Jack. In fact, Jack was really intimidated. He was scared and terrified. So he told Huamin everything she wanted to know. This was the result that Huamin wanted the most. Suddenly, she felt that the day of leaving the island was just around the corner. Huamin hummed happily and walked toward the cabin. Within 24 hours, Hua Xiqian's subordinates would come to the island. Then, everything would change. She didn't want to waste her life on this isolated island. Plus, she was pregnant with the fruit of her and Qin Chu's love. It was their second baby. She wondered how Pudding and Little Bean would feel when they saw the baby. His mother, Jixing Xiaowei Lingling. And I Yang Jia Rik Sisi. Wow, suddenly thinking of so many friends, Huamin felt warm in his heart. He no longer felt like he was in utter despair. This time, no matter what, he had to leave the island successfully. A glass bottle appeared in Huamin's hand out of nowhere. It was half filled with a transparent liquid. Everything is destined. This time, no one can stop me from going home. No one. Huamin said in a low voice. In China, the Shin Group President Shin, madam. Oh no, Miss Wei is here. Let her in. After listening to the secretary's report, Shin Mingxi put down his work. Looking at Wei Ying, who was about to walk in, he felt a little nervous and excited. He had never felt this way before. Brother Mingxi. Coming. Shin Mingxi stood up. And are you busy today? It's all right. With that, Shin Mingxi walked toward Wei Ying. Wei Ying was dressed casually today. She was wearing a pair of cropped jeans and a long, loose white shirt from a luxury brand. The casual outfit made Wei Ying look like a college student. Sit down, Shin Mingxi said politely. At this moment, the female secretary knocked on the door and brought in 2 cups of coffee. It's too hot. I'd rather have a cold one. Can I have ice? Wei Ying smiled. Miss Wei. Please wait a moment. Thank you. Wei Ying nodded gently at the female secretary. Shin Mingxi had never seen Wei Ying like this before. He didn't know why Wei Ying was so irritable before, but now she seemed to have changed. Big brother Mingxi, I've made progress on the thing you asked me to do. Here are the files. Take a look. With that, Wei Ying took out a stack of files from her handbag and placed them on the table. Chapter 31:15. Okay, let me take a look. Shin Mingxi sat down casually beside Wei Ying. He didn't try to keep his distance, so he was very close to her. Wei Ying smelled the familiar perfume on him. It was her favorite. It was also Shin Mingxi's favorite perfume. But later, Hui Yanyan forced Shin Mingxi to change his perfume. It was a luxurious brand with a strong fragrance. But now it seemed that he changed it back. Thinking of this, Wei Ying's mood improved for no reason. She was going to talk about this at Qin Chu's family dinner last time. But she didn't expect her brother to be so excited that day. In the end, Wei Ying left first and Shin Mingxi left too. As a matter of fact, the two of them made an appointment to meet again in order to avoid unnecessary trouble. Big brother Mingxi, I think these schools are good. My friend's niece and my best friend's nephew go to 2 of them. They're really good. You can check them out. Shin Mingxi nodded. But, the child is so young. Are you sure you want to send her abroad? Yes. Wei Ying didn't know what to say. Wei Ying didn't dare to say much about Shin Mingxi's plan to send Tian abroad. If she did, she would be suspected of having ulterior motives. After all, there were rumors that she and Shin Mingxi were getting back together. At this time, she was so eager to send the child abroad because she didn't want this burden as a stepmother. But that wasn't the truth. It was Shin Mingxi's idea to send Tian abroad. But Shin Mingxi had been busy with the Shin Corporation and didn't have the time to check out the schools abroad. So one day he posted on his WeChat friend circle, looking for a few reliable Chinese elementary schools in Singapore. Wei Ying happened to be awake at that time and replied to him with a few words. Wei Ying happened to have friends or relatives there, so she knew more about it. Later, Shin Mingxi sent Wei Ying a private message and asked her to take care of this matter. He didn't expect Wei Ying to be so efficient and take care of it like it was a big deal. She even did a lot of comparisons and provided a lot of detailed data. Tian relies on you so much. Won't she be upset if you give her away like this? Wei Ying asked worriedly. I sent her abroad for her own good. It's obvious that it's no longer suitable for her to stay in China. There will always be gossip in school. If she grows up like this, her mentality will also be distorted. After all, what her mother did was disgraceful. As long as someone mentions it, she will feel uncomfortable. Once she leaves the country and changes her name, she won't have such troubles. You're doing this for her, but does she know? Wei Ying asked in a low voice. When she grows up, she will understand my good intentions. Big brother Mingxi, you're so good to that kid. Wei Ying licked her lips. She had mixed feelings when she said that. Seeing Shin Mingxi treat Hui Yanyan's daughter so well, Wei Ying was slightly upset. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that she was slightly jealous. Even if you have a puppy after a long time, you'll have deep feelings for it, let alone a human. The grudges between adults are their own business. After all, the child is innocent. Ever since Tian was born, she hasn't had many good days. Her biological father is like that and her mother is like that. This child has a hard life. If I don't take care of her, her life will be ruined. Big brother Mingxi, I know what you mean. I understand you. You're a good person. Wei Ying looked at Shin Mingxi's profile and said earnestly. No, I'm not a good person. If I were, I wouldn't have hurt you so deeply. Wei Ying froze when she heard his words. This seemed to be the first time that Shin Mingxi had brought up their past again. Chapter 31:16. Ahem, Big brother Mingxi, that's all I can do for you. As for which school you want to choose for the kid, you can decide for yourself. I have other things to do, so I have to go. Shin Mingxi nodded and walked Wei Ying out. Thank you for helping me with the school. I'll treat you to dinner when I'm done. You're welcome. It's nothing. Wei Ying wasn't used to Shin Mingxi's sudden gentleness. Ever since she was a child, Wei Ying had always seen Shin Mingxi's cold face. Feeling guilty, she took the opportunity to find an excuse to leave the Shin Corporation. On the deserted island, Huamin calculated the time. When it was almost time, she couldn't fall asleep anymore. She got up and put on her clothes. She wandered around the beach where boats could only approach. She knew Hua Xiqian's men would always dock here. At this time, the sky was just beginning to brighten. The sun slowly rose from the horizon, and the first rays of morning light shone on the sea. Huamin was mesmerized by the oil painting scenery. Perhaps because she knew she was about to leave the island, she was in a good mood. Huamin even hummed a song, "Gently awaken the sleeping soul, slowly open your eyes. See if the busy world is still spinning lonely. The spring breeze is not romantic, blowing the young man's heart, drying the tears on his face with the wind." This was an old song, but it was also one of Huamin's favorite songs when she was in school. Every time she listened to this song, her heart would calm down. Most importantly, it was full of positive energy. When they were in high school, Qin Chu knew she liked it, so he went out of his way to buy her an authentic collector's album. As long as she was alive, there was hope in life, right? Not knowing how much time had passed in the distance, they saw a white speedboat on the sea level heading towards them. Huamin couldn't suppress the excitement in her heart and stood up with a whoosh. She had already rehearsed how to deal with these people thousands of times in her mind. Sure enough, when the boat approached and docked at the shoal, a dozen tall men walked down in an instant. At the front of the group was a burly Caucasian man with brown hair. He was wearing a white Armani shirt and a pair of black sunglasses. There were more than a dozen men behind him, all of whom were foreigners. Huamin carefully walked over. Before he could get close, the group of people pointed their pistols at him from afar. "Who are you? Stop right there." Her fluent English made Huamin stop 5 meters away. "Are you Riley?" Huamin looked at the leading man and gave him a friendly smile. "Why are you here?" Obviously, he knew Huamin's identity. "It seems that my guess was right." Huamin did not answer his question directly. Instead, he muttered to himself, "Where's the boss?" Riley glanced around and didn't see Hua Xiqian, so he raised his guard. "Are you asking about Hua Xiqian? Speaking of which, things are a bit complicated." Huamin also spoke to him in fluent English. Riley's expression changed slightly. He grabbed the pistol from his subordinate and strode up to Huamin. A black pistol was pressed against Huamin's head. "Tell me, where is my boss? What did you do to him?" Riley's eyes were extremely fierce. It seemed that he didn't have a good impression of Huamin. "Don't worry, he's still alive. It's just that there's a little problem." Huamin was still calm and answered without a change in her expression. Chapter 31:17. What is it? Riley asked. "It's hard to explain in a short time. Let's walk and talk." Riley stared at Huamin, trying to figure out what trick she was playing. "You'd better put down the gun. I don't like people pointing at my head. You know who I am. Since you know, you should know that I'm not your boss prisoner." "He treats me much better than you do," Huamin said confidently. Hearing this, Riley slowly put down the gun. "Boss, this woman is easy to play tricks. We have to be careful," a black man behind him reminded him. "Don't worry. I'm just a woman. You have so many men with guns. Are you afraid of me?" Huamin smiled. "Don't play tricks. Otherwise, even if my boss likes you, I'll kill you." Riley coldly glanced at Huamin's face. "Let's go. I'll take you to a place. On the way, I'll tell you what happened." With that, Huamin walked in the front, followed by Riley and his men. They walked toward the basement. "Are you here to give him the medicine?" Huamin asked Riley in a low voice. Riley obviously heard Huamin's words. His body shook. "Don't look like that. I know his condition better than you. I saw it with my own eyes," Huamin said. "What's wrong with my boss? He's not your boss now. He's a second personality." Then Huamin told Riley what had happened. Riley's face darkened. "I know you don't fully believe me, so I'll let you see it with your own eyes." Riley looked at Huamin in confusion. Only you can go into the basement. Don't worry, I can't hurt you. You can take your pistol down there. Because it's not big, I'm afraid that any movement will cause Jack to play tricks. So follow me down and do as I say. Then you'll know the truth. Boss, I'll go down. I'll replace you. A white man behind him seemed to care a lot about Riley. No need. I won't be scared by a woman. You guys wait here. I'll go down. Riley didn't seem to take Huamin seriously because he knew that Huamin didn't have any weapons or skills. He was just a weak woman. Huamin held the flashlight and pushed the door open again. Jack immediately stood up. Damned woman, what are you trying to do? Yes, Huamin had come in and out again and again, and he had completely lost his patience. Good morning. Did you sleep well last night? Huamin chuckled. Don't fucking play this game with me, bitch. Let me go. Are you regretting that you didn't strangle me to death? Huamin asked with a smile. Yes, if I knew that you were so difficult to deal with, I would have killed you back then. I shouldn't have been so lenient. You should really thank me. At that time I made a mistake and allowed you to live until now. However, if I were given another chance, I would definitely tear you to pieces. Jack said fiercely. I'm so sad. If it were Hua Xiqian, he would never treat me like this. He wouldn't have the heart. Huamin deliberately emphasized. Only that idiot would like you. I'm not him. I won't be gentle with you. I swear if you fall into my hands again, I'll make you die a horrible death. Bitch. After saying that, Jack struggled desperately a few times. He couldn't wait to strangle Huamin. He was like a mad beast. Huamin nodded with satisfaction and then shouted to the door. See, Mr. Riley? This person is definitely not your boss. Chapter 31:18. Then Riley opened the door and walked in slowly. He was a German and didn't understand Chinese, so Huamin told him to use a mobile app to translate. Therefore he understood what Jack said to Huamin. Seeing Riley walk in, Jack's face changed and he immediately changed his attitude. Riley, let me go. Don't listen to that bitch. I'm your boss, Jack ordered Riley in perfect English. What a joke. You're still calling yourself Hua Xiqian at a time like this? Then Huamin smiled and took out an empty medicine bottle. She said to Riley, this is Hua Xiqian's medicine. It's finished. I guess he didn't expect his illness to act up so quickly, so he didn't ask you to deliver the medicine in a hurry, which delayed his recovery and let this psychopath out. I don't need to tell you what kind of person Jack is, but you should know. You're the boss here, so you call the shots. You have a weapon in your hand and so many people with you. You can decide whether to believe him or me. Huamin's expression was very calm. She didn't want Riley to believe her words, nor did she want to explain too much. That would only backfire. Bitch. You tricked me? Jack realized that this was Huamin's plan. She made Riley wait outside the door and forced him to get angry so that she could tell whether he was Jack or Hua Xiqian. Riley, don't believe her. This bitch locked me up. I'm your boss. Let me go. Jack wanted to get out even more urgently. He pinned his hope on Riley. Seeing that Riley didn't say anything and just looked at him, Jack said anxiously, I'm really your boss, Riley. Have you forgotten that we used to go to RG restaurant to eat steak and drink German beer in Germany? I also told you that I hated Ian and Nolo very much. You also told me that your sister was killed by Ian and that you wanted to take revenge on him. Have you forgotten all these? Jack tried to use Hua Xiqian's memory to make Riley believe that he was the real Hua Xiqian. But Riley was unmoved. Jack vaguely felt that something was wrong. Unexpectedly, Huamin turned to Riley and said with a smile, See? I told you that Jack is a psychopath with a high IQ. The fact that he shared memories with Hua Xiqian is very abnormal. I was almost fooled by him before, but now that I know it, it's all right. Yes. You're really not my boss. Riley looked at Jack calmly. Huamin, you damn woman. What on earth did you say to him? Jack vented his anger on Huamin again. Because on the way here I told Riley about your situation, including what kind of words you would say and what kind of methods you would use. Jack was slightly shocked. Huamin was such a terrifying and meticulous woman. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Huamin smiled. I'm going to kill you, bitch. Jack struggled against the chains with all his might. However, Riley punched him in the stomach. Then he slowly leaned against the wall and collapsed. Be quiet, you bastard. Riley looked at Jack angrily. I think you can give him the medicine you brought. After a day and a night, your real boss will be back. Hearing this, Riley walked over, pinched Jack's mouth, opened the medicine bottle in his hand and stuffed it into his mouth. "Give it to me, you piece of shit. Go away, don't touch me." Jack seemed to resist, but Riley forced the medicine down his throat. Chapter 31:19. After Riley poured the medicine into Jack's mouth, Jack collapsed on the ground, exhausted. "Riley, you can't beat this woman. If you don't guard against her, Huasiqian will deal with you when she escapes." Jack was still cursing behind Riley and Huamin as they walked out. Huamian chuckled and said, "Jack seems to think highly of me. He thinks that a weak woman like me can run away from you guys with heavy weapons." Riley glanced at Huamin but didn't say anything. When they came out, the sun was up. It was very hot on the island and the ultraviolet rays were very strong. After walking on the island for a while, they were covered in sweat. "When will he wake up?" "Did you say he's your boss?" Huamin asked. "Yeah. Didn't I tell you to let him sleep for a day and a night? We have to see if he really wakes up." Riley didn't say anything. "When are you leaving?" Huamin asked him. "I want to see my boss wake up." "Don't worry. I won't do anything to your boss. After all, if he dies, I won't live either," Huamin said. Just then Riley looked at his subordinates and said, "Move everything off the boat. We'll sleep here tonight." Then a dozen men went to the boat and moved off the new round of supplies for Huasiqian. There was food, drink, red wine, steak, and even frozen seafood. Huamin knew Huasiqian didn't like seafood. It seemed that these were prepared for her. Just then one of his subordinates came over with a big box and placed it at Huamin's feet. "Boss prepared this for Miss Hua," the man said in English. "Don't you want to open it and see?" Riley asked Huamin. Huamin slowly squatted down and opened the box. His heart instantly warmed. There were many newborn clothes, little socks, little hats, some pink, some blue. There were also baby bottles and powdered milk, and even some nutritional products for pregnant women. "Boss asked me to bring these over. They're all made in Germany and I bought the most expensive ones," Riley said. "I can tell. So don't try anything funny. Just stay here. The boss treats you well." Huamin sneered. "Haha, you make it sound like I should be grateful to him instead of hating him. Of course you should be grateful to him. He gave you everything you have." Riley seemed to respect Huasiqian very much and wouldn't allow Huamin to say no. Huamin took a deep breath and slowly stood up. He looked at Riley and said, "A thief stole a chicken from the chicken coop in the middle of the night. When they escaped, the chicken coop caught on fire. The chicken suddenly realized that if it hadn't been stolen, it would have been burned to death. So it was very grateful to the thief. So even if Huasiqian, your honorable boss, kidnapped me and separated me from my husband and my children, I should be grateful to him. At least I'm still alive and well, right?" Riley didn't say anything. "What kind of logic is this? Tell me, is this a bastard's logic?" Huamin asked. "I don't allow you to talk about my boss like that." Riley seemed a little angry. "He's your boss, not mine." Then Huamin was angry and turned to walk back to the cabin. After Huamin entered the cabin alone, he immediately stood in front of the window nervously and watched them. He didn't know if his plan would succeed. Chapter 31:20. The sun on the island was getting hotter and hotter. Huamin looked through the window and saw that Riley and his men were all sweating from the heat. "Boss, I'm thirsty. Let's get some water." "Wait." Riley stopped his men. "What's wrong?" "Don't go to the wooden house." "Boss, you don't trust that woman?" Riley didn't speak. He just asked his men, "Did we bring anything on board this time?" "Not this time. You only told us to bring Boss Hua's wine and some daily necessities like milk powder." I got it. "Boss, where should we drink the water?" "There's a basement over there. I saw Boss Hua store the mineral water there. You guys go down and bring 2 boxes up." "Okay." "Wait." Riley was still worried. "Don't take the ones on the surface. Take the ones at the bottom," Riley ordered. "Yes, boss. We'll go right away." With that, several of his men went straight to the basement. In the wooden house, Huamin was finally relieved. It seemed that they had taken the bait. Riley was indeed suspicious, just like Huasiqian. Luckily, she had prepared for this and had tampered with the water above and below. Sure enough, within an hour after drinking the water, the men began to have abdominal pain. Then very small red spots appeared on their bodies. "Boss, we seem to have been poisoned," someone said as he looked at the spots on his arms. "Go and get that woman for me," Riley said fiercely. No need. I'll do it myself. Huamin walked out of the wooden house with a smile. You poisoned us? Yeah. Huamin continued to smile. Do you believe that I'll shoot you right now? Riley picked up the gun and pointed it at Huamin's head again. I do. But if I die, no one will detoxify you because you'll be poisoned within 12 hours. You may die before you can leave the island and find a doctor. I really underestimated you. Only now did Riley remember what Jack had said in the basement. Huamin could not be underestimated. So, are you waiting for death now or are you waiting for death after you kill me? Huamin asked. What do you want? Riley knew that Huamin must have her purpose. Oh, can I state my conditions now? Huamin asked. Riley and the dozen subordinates behind him all covered their abdomens and looked at her with painful expressions, their eyes full of hatred. Tell me, what do you want? Riley stared at Huamin. I want to leave the island. Dream on. Impossible. As soon as Huamin finished speaking, Riley immediately denied it. Yes, this woman had left the island. How big of a crime was that? Could he bear it? His boss would wake up soon and when he saw Huamian running away he would chop him into pieces, right? Then we'll all die together. Huamin seemed to be even calmer. Don't think that I don't dare to kill you. Don't force me. Riley was also flustered. He had never seen a woman like this. He really wanted to shoot her. The poison in his body was getting stronger and stronger and his arms were already numb. I don't think that you don't dare to kill me. As Huasiqian's subordinate you've probably killed countless people. But if you kill me you'll lose more than you gain. I'm the only one with the antidote for the poison in you and your subordinates. I'm satisfied that you'll die with me. At least I won't die alone on this deserted island. After hearing Huamin's words, Riley and his subordinates' expressions changed drastically. Chapter 31:21. How can there be such a powerful poison on this island? Someone asked curiously. Yes, Riley didn't know either. They had been on the island for a long time. If this woman was poisonous, why didn't she attack Huasiqian earlier? Why did she attack them when Huasiqian was sick? Huamin smiled but didn't say anything. Speaking of this, it all started from the day when he was returning to the cabin from the basement. He found a weed on the way back. Others might not think much of it, but Huamin was a doctor. She was proficient in medicine and had read many books on Chinese herbs. She knew many valuable herbs. This soul-eating grass grew quietly and inconspicuously. However, Huamin found it and treated it like a treasure. That day, after Huamian took the herb back, she mixed it with other things to dilute the poison in the soul-eating grass and made a poison. She made a lot of it and mixed it in the mineral water that Huasiqian kept in the basement. She was waiting for Riley and the others. That was why she was so anxious to ask Jack when they would arrive on the island. It was so hot on the island that people couldn't live without water. Plus, they would be cautious and wouldn't drink the water in Huamin's cabin. Therefore, the water in the basement was the key. Sure enough, they were easily poisoned. Huamin was confident that they could leave the island. In the face of life-threatening danger, there was no such thing as loyalty. There was no doubt that Riley would compromise. It was just a matter of time. Boss, we don't want to die here. Yeah, boss. Let's let this woman go first. We can catch her later. Boss will kill us, Riley said. But we're going to die even if boss doesn't kill us. This poison is too uncomfortable. I feel pain all over my body. Don't worry. You'll rot slowly. Huamin added fuel to the fire. Evil woman. Riley stared at Huamin as if he was going to skin her alive. I don't care what you say about me. At this point, I'm just waiting for you to say the word. Whether we live or die, you decide. Huamin looked at the poisoned people. Boss, hurry up and agree with her. We really don't want to die. That's right, boss. This venom will seep into the heart. We won't be able to save it. Boss, save us. The foreign men behind him were all wailing. In the face of death, no matter how strong a man was, he would become a coward. This was something that Huamin had long thought of. We'll ask the boss when he wakes up. In the end, Riley didn't dare to disobey Huasiqian and let Huamian go. I'm sorry, but your poison won't last until your boss wakes up, Huamin reminded. Riley seemed to want to say something but stopped. Don't call me cunning. If I don't do this, I won't be able to leave the island. So hurry up and decide. If you don't like me, you can kill me. Even if we let you go, you have to give us the antidote first. Otherwise, how can we take you away on the speedboat? Don't treat me like a 3-year-old kid. After you agree to my request, I'll give the antidote to your speedboat driver and let him take us away. As for the rest of you, I'll give you the antidote after I get to the shore safely. You're really... Riley didn't expect Huamin to react so quickly and be so considerate. And when we get to the shore, I want my passport and US dollars. I want to leave this damn place as soon as possible, Huamin added. Chapter 31:22. Boss, say yes or we'll all die. Yeah, boss, let this woman go. Let's survive first. What kind of poison is this? So horrible. I've already started to get that thing on my leg. Before Riley could say anything, his men had completely collapsed. It was human nature to be afraid of death. In the end, after a long standoff with Huamin, Riley decided to agree to Huamin's conditions. Okay, I'll do whatever you want. Mr. Riley, I knew you're a smart man. You won't kill yourself and your men because of your blind loyalty to your master. That's much easier. Who was the one who drove the boat here? Huamin glanced at their faces and asked in a low voice. I can drive the boat. You give me the antidote first, Riley said. No, you can't. Huamin smiled. Why can't I? I can drive the boat too. Riley was a bit angry. Everyone here can drive the boat except you, as you're their leader. Send out a small soldier so I can control him. But I advise you not to waste my time. From now on, before we leave the island, you'd better listen to me. Otherwise, if the poison accelerates, you won't be able to save yourself even if you have the antidote. Huamin was still threatening them. These people didn't have medical skills and didn't know what kind of poison they were infected with. So they didn't dare to disobey Huamin. Boss, let's do as he says. John, come out and drive the boat. Riley glared at a skinny white man who was sneaking around. Hey boss. The man timidly came out from the back of the crowd. When he passed by Riley, Riley lowered his voice and said, Be smart. Find a chance to tie this woman up after you get all the antidote. Hey boss. It turned out that Riley had other plans. He wanted to get the antidote but didn't want to let Huamin go. Indeed, if Huasiqian woke up and found Huamin gone, he wouldn't be any better than dead. Unfortunately, they seemed to have underestimated Huamin, a weak Asian woman. Miss Hua, I'll steer the boat. Give me the antidote first. John extended his hand to Huamin. Huamin glanced at him and took out a small glass bottle. Here's half of the antidote. Take it first and your strength will recover a little. It won't affect your sailing. However, the poison isn't cured. I'll give you the other half after I safely get ashore and leave. This. Hardadef was dumbfounded as well. It seemed like everything his boss had told him was useless now. Of course, I'm doing this because I'm afraid that you'll go back on your word and hurt me. I don't like trusting strangers, Huamin said word by word. Hearing this, Huamin glanced at Riley cautiously. They were all thinking that this woman was too cunning. She only gave Hardadef an ordinary antidote, so he definitely wouldn't dare to play any tricks. His lifeline was still in her hands. How is it? Aren't you going to get on the boat? Are you waiting for the poison to take effect? Huamin sneered. The woman that the boss likes is indeed extraordinary. Miss Hua, you're amazing. Riley admired this woman from the bottom of his heart. A weak woman facing a dozen strong foreign men, each with a gun in their hands. The kind that could send her to her death at any time. Huamin wasn't afraid at all. Instead, she was meticulous and thought of all the possibilities and impossibilities. Even a tough guy like Riley couldn't help but admire him for his intelligence and bravery. Mr. Riley, you flatter me. I just want to protect myself. Since we've reached an agreement, let's get on the boat. Huamin smiled. Chapter 31:23. Please wait. Riley suddenly interrupted Huamin. Is there anything else, Mr. Riley? Huamin frowned. He didn't want anything to happen. Before I leave, I need to check on my boss and leave him enough food and water. Otherwise, he won't be able to hold on. After that, Riley walked towards the basement alone. Huamin narrowed his eyes. His expression was complicated, but he didn't stop him. With Huasiqian's current condition, he was probably still unconscious. There was no way he could recover immediately after taking the medicine. It would take some time for him to suppress Jack. Therefore, he wasn't worried about what Huasiqian would say to him. It could only mean that Riley was truly loyal to Huasiqian. The remaining 10 or so men stayed behind with Huamin. However, they didn't dare to get close to this woman. Just then, a black man in the crowd cursed in English, "Brothers, we're a group of men. This woman has potential. It's not a good idea. Why don't we just tie her up and cut her ass off bit by bit until she gives us the antidote? Otherwise, if she doesn't give us the antidote when we get to the shore, we'll be dead for sure." After the black man's incitement, some of the men seemed to be tempted. They looked at Huamin with eager eyes. "Boss Riley is loyal to Mr. Hua, but we're not. We just want to stay alive," the black man continued. "But if Mr. Hua wakes up and finds out that we hurt this woman, we'll die too. Boss Riley said that we can't let a single hair of this woman go missing." Someone seemed to be worried. "We don't care whose woman she's in our current state. We're about to die. Plus she's so timid. She won't wait for us to cut her before she gives us the antidote. She'll probably give us the antidote right away. What do you think?" The black man suddenly stood up, enduring the pain. The others were also incited, but they didn't dare to act rashly. They knew that Riley would be back in a moment. Huamin coldly glanced at the black man's face. "Black man, I advise you not to do this." "What's wrong? Are you scared, bitch? If you're scared, then take out the antidote." The black man's gaze was fierce. He might have thought that he was a tall and strong man, but he was restrained by a small woman with so many men around him. His heart was seriously unbalanced. Therefore, they took advantage of Riley's absence to stage such a farce. "I can easily poison you. Do you think you can hurt me?" Huamin smiled. He had long heard that there were some people in Africa who were simple-minded, all brawn and no brains. However, their EQ and IQ were extremely low. Today it seemed that this was indeed the case. This black man who had started the trouble had stepped forward to stir up trouble and find fault with Huamin. He was really not smart. However, he did not seem to know that he was in the wrong. "Woman, don't scare me. Boss is afraid of you and doesn't dare to touch you, but I don't care. If you don't hand over the antidote, I'll break your neck right now." As he spoke, he slowly walked towards Huamin. "It's not a good thing for you to get close to me like this. Why don't you just take out your gun?" Huamin reminded him. "I don't need a gun to deal with an ant like you." The black man seemed to be very conceited, thinking that victory was already in his hands. As the black man approached Huamin step by step, 2 silver needles suddenly appeared in Huamin's hands behind his back. These were self-made life-saving tools. She didn't think that she would have to use them so soon. Unfortunately, before the black man could reach Huamin, a gunshot was heard. Then, everyone was dumbfounded. Chapter 31-24. Boss. Huamin's subordinates saw Riley raise his gun not far behind Huamin. As for that black ghost, he had already fallen to the ground with a loud thud, with a large bloody hole in his head. Seeing this, Huamin's stomach churned and she almost threw up. Turning her head, she covered her chest and retched. "Are you okay?" Riley walked over and glanced at Huamin expressionlessly. Huamin shook his head and didn't want to speak. "The rest of you listen up. If anyone dares to hurt Miss Hua, you'll end up like him." Pointing at the fallen black guy, Riley said righteously. Yes, he had always known how important this woman was to their boss. "Boss, we didn't do that. It was him. He provoked us." "Hey, stop talking. Let's get on the boat." Finally, Huamin followed them onto the speedboat and watched it leave the island. Huamin heaved a long sigh of relief. "I hope I'll never come back to this damned place." Huamin murmured to herself. This place was heaven for Hua Xiqian, but it was hell for her. "Baby, mommy will take you home. Let's go find daddy and sis." Huamin touched the baby in her belly and smiled contentedly for the first time in days. Meanwhile, Qin Chu was still on the plane to Australia. "President Qin, here are the files you asked for." Qin Chu took the files and found it was a thick stack. He didn't expect there to be so many islands near Australia. If he searched them one by one, how long would it take? After a moment of consideration, he decided to call Lu Yen again. Lu Yen was very high-tech and could even make calls and video calls while flying. No one could beat her. The watches she and the professor were wearing were specially made by the professor and were very powerful communication devices. Coincidentally, before Qin Chu could call her, Lu Yen called him first. "Brother-in-law, where are you?" "He's in transit." "Or then I'm faster than you. I'll land in an hour. I have a lot of information about the large and small islands near Australia, but there are too many of them. I think it's a waste of time." Can you find a way to quickly filter some of them? Well, I have a way. Leave it to me. I don't need any information. Once I land, I need to meet someone important. Who? Chin Chu was curious. It's a secret. But if we succeed this time, you don't have to thank me, you have to thank Xiao Fei. Before Lu Yan could finish her words, Xiao Fei cut off the video call. Damn it. Why can't I finish? Lu Yan looked innocent. Are you stupid? Why are you telling brother-in-law all this? Don't worry, brother-in-law won't laugh at you. Ha, after all, you're doing this for the sake of saving my sister. Even so, you're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say it, do you hear me? Xiao Fei was going crazy. Maybe Lu Yan was out of her mind to come up with such a stupid idea. You'll land in an hour, Psycho Xiao. Do your best. I do have a specialty. Do you want to try it? Xiao Fei suddenly leaned close to Lu Yan's face. Lu Yan's cheeks instantly turned red. Pervert, you're taking advantage of me. Lu Yan punched Xiao Fei with her fist. I didn't even touch you. You call that taking advantage of me? Miss Lu Yan, are you paranoid? Xiao Fei rolled his eyes at Lu Yan. Chapter 31-25. I don't have paranoia, but I do have mania. Do you want me to beat you up? Lu Yan chuckled. Xiao Fei, okay. Stop fooling around. Get ready and dress up. We'll carry out your mission in a while. You seem eager to send your husband out. Xiao Fei looked at her quietly. No. I'm just looking forward to it. I wonder how that guy will react when he sees you. Xiao Fei looked at Lu Yan speechless. This damned girl always said whatever she thought of. 1 hour later, Lu Yan's private plane arrived in Sydney, Australia. Due to her special identity, Lu Yan didn't have a good account. She pulled some strings and changed her clothes and drove to a World Trade Center. Mr. Smith, this is my friend Mr. Chow. Him. Her subordinates behind her almost spat out blood. Was it really okay to call the aloof young master Chow Xiao Chow? What a weird scene. The old white man was chubby with a beard on both sides of his face. He looked very tough. His beard didn't match the suit he was wearing. Miss Lu's friend is very pretty. Yeah, he used the word pretty to describe Xiao Fei, a man. I know Mr. Smith has a soft spot for Asian faces, so I brought my friend to accompany you. Lu Yan said that but cursed him in her heart. Damn gay. I'll teach you a lesson when we're done. Miss Lu, you're so polite. Do you need my help? The bearded white man's smile was creepy. Yes, Mr. Smith. To tell you the truth, I have a sister who went missing recently. We checked and found out that she was kidnapped and brought to an island in Australia. But you know, there are too many islands in Australia. Australia itself is a big island, so I really don't know where to start. Oh, I see. It's a pity that your sister went missing, the old white man said subtly. So, Mr. Smith, I know you're in charge of the information on all the islands. Can you help us investigate the information on all the islands? We'll investigate it ourselves. How can I? It's confidential. Many islands are sold to individuals. I don't allow customers' information to be leaked. The old Caucasian man was very determined. Lu Yan sneered. That's why I came to you, Mr. Smith. I know you have a lot of connections. Can you make an exception for me? I miss my sister very much. Miss Lu, you're making things very difficult for me. Although I really want to help Miss Lu, I do have my duties. The old Caucasian man kept speaking in a bureaucratic tone. Lu Yan didn't want to waste time with them and waved her hand at her subordinates. His subordinate immediately handed him a leather case. Lu Yan handed the leather suitcase to the old man and opened it in front of him. Here's $1 million. Mr. Smith, take it first. When I find my sister, I'll give you another $2 million as a reward. The old man's expression changed when he saw the money. I understand Miss Lu's feelings of wanting to find her sister. But as a government employee, it's not good for me to bend the law for personal gain. At my age, it's better for me to retire properly. Chow. Why don't you go and pour a cup of tea for Mr. Smith? Lu Yan coughed lightly. Me. Xiao Fei looked confused and displeased. Why should he pour tea for this old man? Chapter 31-26. Lu Yan kept winking at Xiao Fei. Although Xiao Fei was reluctant, he still walked over and poured a cup of hot water for the old man from Bayern. He placed it on the table. When the old man reached for the cup, he touched Xiao Fei's hand. Qiao Fei was so disgusted that he almost took out a dagger and stabbed him. I'm interested in China's culture, especially tea ceremony. Many Chinese try to please me by giving me high-quality tea leaves. I've heard about Mr. Smith's love for China. Lu Yan smiled. Yeah. I especially like people with Chinese faces. Then the old man glanced at Qiao Fei. Lu Yan's subordinates finally understood what their boss meant. Does boss want young Master Qiao to seduce this white guy? Ahem. Why did young Master Qiao agree? It's not like him. With our boss's temper, no one dares to disagree. That's not right. Boss always deals with people crudely. She either kills them or blows them up. Why did she change her approach this time? I heard the old man's brother is one of the most influential people in Australia. Boss is afraid it'll be troublesome if she kills him directly. Her subordinates whispered to each other not far away. Qiao Fei clenched his fists patiently. His expression changed. Lu Yan immediately walked over and put her arm around Qiao Fei's shoulder. Then she lowered her voice and said, "Hold it in, Psycho Qiao. We still need this old man to help us get information." Then Lu Yan turned around and looked at Smith. "Mr. Smith, I'm a straightforward person. How about this? You take the money and take my men with you. Get me the information, okay? Thank you for your kindness, Miss Lu, but..." Smith seemed to want to refuse. Losing her patience, Lu Yan held Qiao Fei's hand and walked out. "If that's the case, forget it. Let's go." "Hey, wait a minute." Smith seemed to be in a hurry. Lu Yan paused with a smug smile on her face. "Is there anything else, Mr. Smith?" Lu Yan turned around and asked. "I've thought about it. After all, Miss Lu is a friend recommended by an acquaintance. If that's the case, it would seem too disloyal of me if I don't help." Smith said a lot of nonsense. "So?" Lu Yan raised an eyebrow. "So let's do as Miss Lu said just now. I've taken the money and I'll take her away. I'll get someone to send the information to you right away, but there's one thing." "What is it?" Lu Yan was displeased to see the old man's condition. "You can only read the information here. You can't take it away. After all, this is a confidential document. If it gets leaked and falls into the hands of others, I'll be dead for sure," Schmidt said. Lu Yan knew the files Schmidt took out contained information about the hidden billionaires in the world. Many of the islands were bought by them at sky-high prices, but they didn't want to attract attention. If this information was leaked out, then there would be a lot of assassins who would come looking for him to rob him of his wealth. "I understand what you mean, Mr. Smith. Okay, I promise you." "Good. I'll get someone to send the information to you now." Then Schmidt put away the box swiftly. It was obvious that he was a greedy person. While Schmidt was on the phone, Lu Yan leaned over and whispered in Qiao Fei's ear, "Be careful. This guy is a perverted gay. I think he'll do something to you." Hearing this, Qiao Fei wanted to strangle Lu Yan to death. Chapter 31:27. Lu Yan, good for you. Qiao Fei was furious. "Don't be afraid. I'll finish reading the files soon and go to this old guy's house to save you. You can have fun with him." Before Qiao Fei could speak, Lu Yan took his hand and walked to the old white man. "Mr. Smith, I'll leave my friend to you. Please treat him well." "Of course. I like friends from China the most." The old white man was in a good mood. "Hey, my friend will definitely treat you well. Have a good time." After Lu Yan said those dirty words, she and her subordinates moved to the side of the road. At this moment, two female secretaries knocked on the door and walked in with tall files in their hands. "Mr. Smith, these are the files you asked for. Put them here." "They are all the files I asked for? Did you miss anything?" Lu Yan looked at the files and asked worriedly. "No, don't worry. They're all here. All the islands in Australia, big and small, have been recorded." "Hey. Thank you, Mr. Smith." "Qiao, come home with me." The old white man looked at Qiao Fei lecherously. Qiao Fei didn't speak. Instead, he walked out of the door and the old man followed him. After Qiao Fei left, one of Lu Yan's subordinates couldn't help but ask, "Boss, are you really going to give young Master Qiao to that perverted gay man? What else? Should I give him to you?" Lu Yan glared at him. No. I'm not as pretty as young Master Qiao." "Huh. At least you know your place," Lu Yan said as she flipped through the files on the islands. "But boss, will young Master Qiao be in danger?" One of Lu Yan's female subordinates asked worriedly. "He won't. But I heard that this Schmidt is a very perverted old man. It is said that many Chinese students have died tragically in his house. Some of them were even never found. Many parents in China have made a fuss about it. But because it is a foreign case and Schmidt has a backer behind him, it was left unsettled in the end. Don't worry. Qiao Fei isn't a Chinese student. Lu Yan smiled. But Schmidt's house is heavily guarded and has a lot of bodyguards. Young Master Qiao, you're good at fighting, but you can't bring your weapon in. What? Qiao Fei is in danger. Are you nervous? Lu Yan glanced at her female subordinate. The female subordinate immediately blushed. No, I just feel that young Master Qiao treats boss very well. Boss shouldn't treat him like that. Qiao Fei and I have been together for so many years that we have a tacit understanding of each other. Don't worry about it. Hurry up and help me look through the information. If there are any suspicious islands, immediately record them down for me. We'll quickly filter them out. Yes, boss. Qiao Fei left with the old white man while Lu Yan and her subordinates quickly browsed through the information on all the islands in the building. On the other side, on the deserted island, Huamin used the antidote to force these people to board the ship and leave the island with her. Along the way, she didn't dare to sleep and ate very little. She was even very careful when she went to the toilet. After all, the people on the ship weren't ordinary people. How long until we reach land? Huamin asked Riley. What's the name of the place we're going to? Huamin asked. After a moment of hesitation, Riley said, Tasmania. What? Tasmania? That means we're in Australia. Huamin was slightly surprised. Not bad. You know a lot of places. Riley glanced at Huamin and said slowly. Chapter 31:28. Huamin was no stranger to Australia. She liked to travel and had studied many beautiful towns around the world. Tasmania was one of them. As a famous town in Australia, it had a good location and beautiful scenery. It was only 240 kilometers away from Victoria. Huamin always thought she was kidnapped to an island far, far away in Africa. She didn't expect that she was still in Australia. Although he was surprised, there was still a trace of joy in his heart after the surprise. She suddenly felt that she was very close to home. Miss Hua, forgive me for asking, but I really don't understand. My boss is so good to you. Why do you hate him? Although it was Riley's first time meeting Huamin, he had heard a lot about her. Hua Xiqian had been thinking about this woman for so many years. What kind of logic is that? Someone is good to you, you have to marry him? Huamin laughed. Riley, love is the most unreasonable thing in the world. It's hard to explain and it's mutual. It's not one-sided. Love itself is a wonderful thing and it shouldn't become a forced pain. As for your boss's obsession with me, I've always wanted to tell you that it's because he's been unhappy all these years that he can't bear to see other people's happiness. My husband, Qin Chu, treats me better than your boss in his entire life. But don't you think it's rare for someone to be obsessed with you all these years? So what? Do I have to marry him because of this? I don't love him. How do you want me to live with him? But as far as I know, you don't love your ex-boyfriend either. But you still dated him in college, Riley said calmly. You know a lot. Huamin was surprised that Riley knew about her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Ning Ziyuan. This meant that Hua Xiqian's subordinate had done a lot of research on him. My story with Ning Ziyuan is actually very simple. Back then, there was a misunderstanding between me and my husband. After being separated for many years, I always thought that I should live a normal life. Huamin no longer wanted to talk about the past. The grudge between her and Ning Ziyuan had already been written off. If someone hadn't deliberately mentioned it, she wouldn't have even remembered who this person was. It wasn't that Huamin was heartless, but that Ning Ziyuan didn't leave much color in Huamin's life. He didn't love Huamin as much as Qin Chu did, nor was he as great as Su Yu, who treated Huamin well without asking for anything in return. There was also no one like Hua Xiqian who persisted until now. Therefore, there was really nothing much to say about that person. Okay, everyone says that Miss Hua has a high IQ. You're indeed very logical when you speak. Riley smiled. Cut the crap. We're not friends. I don't need to chat with you here. Since we're almost on land, where are my money and passport? Huamin asked. Money is not a problem. You don't need 1,000 yuan. I can even give you 10,000 yuan, said Riley. However, from his tone, it seemed that there was more to it, so Huamin didn't rush to answer. As expected, Riley continued, it's not that I don't want to do the passport. I don't have your passport at all. Then how did I get here? Huamin questioned. When you came here you were still unconscious. Boss pulled some strings to bring you here. Boss probably has a forged passport but it's not with me. Then won't it be troublesome for me to stay here without an identity? Huamin questioned. Yes, overseas people often check documents. It was very troublesome for a foreigner to stay here without a passport. They couldn't even take a plane or a truck or leave here. Chapter 31:29. Riley didn't say anything. Huamin was clearly annoyed that she hadn't thought of this. Why don't you give me half of the antidote when we get there? I'll take you to my contacts and get them to give you a certificate to prove your identity. No need, Huamin refused right away. Are you wary of me? Riley chuckled. Of course I am. You're Hua Xiqian's man. I don't want to go back to that godforsaken place ever again. Huamin walked to the stern of the boat and looked at the waves stirred by the boat. He had mixed feelings. She might have to think of another way to prove her identity. Luckily she could speak English. Otherwise it would be hard for her to survive here. The boat slowly approached the shore. Huamin was the first to jump onto the boat. She didn't need anyone's help and acted like a tough woman. Miss Hua, where's our antidote? Riley reached out his hand. I need to take John away. When I think we're somewhere safe I'll give all of your antidote to John. No way. If you run away where are we going to find the antidote? Someone protested. I won't run away. John is watching me, right? Unless you don't trust him? Huamin asked. Riley remained silent. He seemed to be considering whether Huamin's plan would work. Boss, I'll definitely bring the antidote back to you. I won't let this woman run away, John said with a gun in his hand. Boss, say something. Will this method work? Miss Hua, there are so many of us. You should at least give us part of the antidote first. Have you left the island? Riley asked. Mr. Riley, don't negotiate with me. Even if I've left the island I'll still take you down with me if we can't reach an agreement. Huamian was determined not to compromise with them. How can you be like this? Someone couldn't help but curse in English. Don't negotiate with me. After all, the antidote is in my hands. Honestly, do you have the antidote or not? Are you trying to be mysterious? You didn't bring anything with you when you left. Where is the antidote? Why don't I believe it? A young white man was curious. After he said this, everyone looked at Huamin's bag. When Huamin left the island he only carried a backpack. No one knew what was inside because she didn't open it during the journey. Even when going to the toilet he had to carry her. All of these people became greedy. If there was really an antidote inside, wouldn't it be better to just snatch it and consume it directly? The antidote. Of course I have it. You'd better not have any other ideas. Otherwise you'll lose more than you gain. Huamin glanced at Riley indifferently. I don't believe her. I think the antidote is in this bag. No, I can't let her go. I need the antidote. The Caucasian young man pounced over. Matthew, stop it. Riley didn't agree with Matthew's approach. After spending so much time with Huamin he found that this woman was very smart and terrifyingly meticulous. She was more than enough to deal with men like them. The antidote wouldn't be as simple as just in the bag. But this Caucasian young man seemed to have lost his mind due to his marijuana addiction and didn't listen to Riley. Instead he walked directly to Huamin and rudely pulled Huamin's bag off her back. Huamin didn't resist. When he opened the bag he found some daily necessities, a towel, a toothbrush and a medium-sized wooden box. The antidote must be in here. After the Caucasian young man said this, the other's eyes lit up. I advise you not to touch my things. Huamin warned with a dark face. Chapter 31:30. But Huamin didn't stop. He pushed Huamin away roughly, snatched the box and opened it impatiently. Ah! In an instant his hand was bitten by something. Then he threw the box on the ground. Everyone's faces turned pale when they saw the little thing inside. Little sweetheart, are you scared? Huamin immediately squatted down and picked up the little insect on the ground. It was a centipede as thick as a pinky finger and its body was red. Just looking at it was enough to make one's scalp tingle. Boss, it's so painful. The young white man suddenly fell to the ground with a thud. His face turned green and he was in so much pain that he wanted to die. Riley took a look and saw that Matthew's entire arm had started to turn black and blue. What bit him? Riley looked at Huamin. Didn't you see it? It's a poisonous centipede. Huamin touched the centipede with his hand, and the men all retreated in fear. Boss, it hurts, help me. The man looked at Riley and screamed for help. Then he rolled on the ground. Miss Hua. Riley seemed to want to ask Huamin for help. I can't do anything. I told him not to touch my things but he wouldn't listen, Huamin said. Hurry up and give him the antidote for the centipede. He didn't do it on purpose, Riley said. He didn't do it on purpose? Also, there's no antidote for the centipede. So you guys better stay away from me. I'm really scared that my pet will accidentally bite you. If that happens, there'll be nothing I can do. Then Huamin purposely rubbed the centipede in front of Riley's face, making him retreat in fear. At this moment, the white young man lying on the ground was foaming at the mouth. He looked like he was dying. Someone wanted to help him up, but Huamin reminded them coldly, you better not touch him. He's poisoned. If you want to die, do it. After saying that, those people all retreated again and distanced themselves from Matthew. Boss, what should we do? Someone asked Riley. Riley glanced at Matthew helplessly and took out his pistol. Bro, I'll give you a quick death. With a bang, the man's head was shot by Riley's pistol. Red blood immediately flowed out and soaked the ground. If it's poisonous, why didn't it bite you? Someone asked Hua in English. Because he saw the deadly centipede lying motionlessly in Huamin's palm like a child. Because it's my pet. You're a psycho? Riley looked at Huamin with a chill in his heart. A psycho? Ah, you flatter me. I'm not even 1/10 as good as your boss, Hua Xiqian. I'm just trying to protect myself. So what's my plan? If John comes with me, I'll give him the antidote. But if you continue to confront me, I'm not sure how long it'll take for the poison to take effect. Huamin wasn't a person who was willing to be led by the nose. At critical moments, he always surprised people. After the centipede incident, the men didn't dare to approach Huamin anymore. They thought this woman was too powerful. They didn't know how many things she had that were related to pain. They were really afraid that she might drag out a king cobra at any time. Okay, I agree. Finally, Riley compromised and agreed to Huamin's condition. Chapter 31:31. Huamin smiled slightly when Riley relented. John, his boss. Go and send Miss Hua away. When she's safe, come back with the antidote. Boss, will the woman run away and lose the antidote? Many people still didn't believe in Huamin's character. No, Miss Hua isn't that kind of person. She wouldn't kill more than a dozen people for no reason. You sound like you know me very well. Huamin smiled faintly. The person that the boss values can't be such a vicious woman. But 2 of your men died because of me. Huamin reminded him. Riley had shot a man who didn't know what was good for him on the island. Now another man wanted to steal the antidote, but he suffered the consequences of his own actions. Those 2, he deserved it. It wasn't Miss Hua's fault, Riley said mildly. It sounded like Riley was an open-minded person, although he was old-fashioned and didn't smile much. Hey. If that's the case, it's no problem. Since Mr. Riley trusts me so much, I won't let you down. I'll give you the antidote, but I have to leave you safely, I know. Can you give me the money? Huamin reached out his hand. It was the first time he was so thick-skinned to ask a man for money, especially a man he didn't know very well. Riley slowly took out his wallet from his pocket and took out a thick stack of US dollars. There should be about 5,000 here. It's enough for you to live here for a few days. I know. Huamin took the money quickly. I can't give you a passport, but if you want to get a certificate, I can help you. No need. But Miss Hua, I have a word of advice for you. Go ahead. Huamin put the money in his bag and looked up at Riley. Although this is Australia, it's not very peaceful. You know, there are still some anti-Chinese people here, especially you, a weak girl. After 6 o'clock in the evening, try not to go out and walk around. It's okay for the local residents, but if you meet some black people, it's troublesome. It's easy to be kidnapped and blackmailed. You have to be careful. Okay, Mr. Riley. Thank you for your advice. I'll keep it in mind. Huamin smiled. John, see Miss Hua out, said Riley. Yes, boss. Then that's it. I only hope that I'll never have the chance to meet you again, Mr. Riley. That's it. After saying this, Huamin turned around and left, closely followed by the man called John, who was closely followed by Huamin. Looking at Huamin's back, Riley's expression became complicated. Boss, should we send people to follow them? Oh, Miss Hua is very smart. If she finds out that we're still following her, we'll lose more than we gain. We haven't gotten the antidote yet, so we shouldn't complicate things. Oh, so we're just going to leave Miss Hua alone? Of course not. After we get the antidote and detoxify her, I'll send a new group of people to secretly catch her. Otherwise, if she escapes and the boss wakes up, I won't be able to explain it to him. Riley's original intention was to deliver the antidote to Hua Xiqian and meet the boss. He didn't expect such a big thing to happen, and the boss was still unconscious on the deserted island. When he woke up and found that Huamin was gone, he might be furious. He might even kill them all. After walking for a while, Huamin was a little tired and turned to look at John. Are you hungry? Huh? John was dumbfounded. Chapter 31-32. I asked, are you hungry? Huamin repeated. Oh, I'm okay. John didn't know how to answer Huamin's question. But I'm hungry. Can you take me to a place to eat first? Should we go to a Chinese restaurant? John asked. Oh, I don't want to be too eye-catching. Let's find a fast food restaurant and have hamburgers. Okay. John and Huamin left the restaurant together. After a long drive, they found a fast food restaurant and sat down. You go and order. I want hamburgers, Coke, and fried chicken. You can order whatever you want. Huamin took out a big dollar bill and handed it to John. Here's the rest of the money. You can take the car back later. Miss Hua, about the antidote. Don't worry. I'll give it to you after dinner. John took the money Huamin gave him and stood up to line up for food. Maybe it was because John was a foreigner. Huamin's appearance didn't attract much attention in the restaurant. People only glanced at him occasionally when they saw his Asian face. While John was standing in line to buy food, Huamin carefully took out a small glass bottle from his sleeve. Then he took some mineral water from the fast food restaurant and diluted the water in the small bottle. The big bottle was colorless and odorless. John wasn't far away. He turned around and saw Huamin mixing the antidote, and he felt a lot more relieved. Huamin knew John was watching, so he smiled slightly and didn't say anything. In fact, the small glass bottle was also filled with water. She diluted it on purpose for John to see. John would definitely think it was the antidote. Those who were poisoned by the soul-eating grass didn't suffer much. As long as they drank more water, they would be fine in about a week. But Huamin wouldn't tell them this. They would never be able to guess Huamin's style of doing things. She was similar to Lu Yen in that she had to try regardless of whether she was confident or not. Coupled with their fearless and calm faces, most people would choose to believe them. Lu Yen could even fool Ian. She had to admit that she had a strong mentality. John came back with his shopping and put the tray on the table. Huamin ate and drank the hamburger and cola without saying a word. Miss Hua. Then, why didn't the centipede bite you? Hardadef had been wanting to ask this all along. Because it likes me. John, Miss Hua, don't lie to me. I don't believe you. As for why it didn't bite me, you don't have to worry about it. I definitely have my ways, but I know that if you have other thoughts and do something bad to me, I will definitely let it bite you. You saw what happened to Matthew, right? I don't have any bad intentions. I just want to get the antidote safely and leave. This is the antidote. Huamin pushed the bottle of mineral water to John. How do I drink it? Is there a requirement? 1 sip per person. Then, for the next week, each person has to drink 20 glasses of water and do 100 push-ups every day. What does the antidote have to do with push-ups? John was surprised. Because strenuous exercise can detoxify the poison. Oh, I see. I understand. Thank you, Miss Hua. John carefully hid the bottle of mineral water in his pocket, afraid that he would lose it. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. In fact, those people were already fine. The dosage wasn't that high to begin with, but they were scared after seeing the reaction on their bodies. Making them drink 20 glasses of water a day was indeed to speed up the detoxification process, but doing 100 push-ups was purely a joke. Huamin didn't like Hua Xiqian's subordinates at all. Miss Hua, what are you going to do after I leave? You're a foreign woman without a passport or identity. Even if you have money, it's hard to live here. The Australian police are very rude. John reminded Huamin. Chapter 31-33. I'm fine. I have my ways, Huamin said as he ate his hamburger. Alright then. I wish you good luck. After the meal, John walked out of the front door with the antidote in his hand. Hua Mian, on the other hand, disappeared into the alley behind him. When John returned, everyone was waiting for him. "Where's the antidote?" Riley asked. "It's here, boss." "Where's Miss Hua?" "She's still in the hamburger shop. She hadn't finished eating when I left." "Did you see the antidote? Are you sure it's real?" Riley asked. "Think so. I saw Miss Hua take out a bottle of antidote from her sleeve and mix it with water." "Did she tell you how to take it?" Riley looked at the bottle of water. "She did. Miss Hua said everyone has to take a sip of the antidote and drink 20 glasses of water every day for the next week. Oh, and do 100 push-ups every day." "Riley, Miss Hua said the exercise will speed up the detoxification process." Then Luli opened the bottle of water and took a big gulp. Then he handed the bottle to his subordinates. This time they suffered a great loss in transporting supplies. A group of men was fooled by a little girl. On the other side in Sydney, inside a suburban mansion, Smith took Xiao Fei back to his private mansion. Then he led him to his master bedroom impatiently. "Xiao, do you want to take a shower first?" the old white man asked wickedly. "Mr. Smith, you can take a shower first. I'll wait for you here." "'Kay, baby. I'll be right out." Before entering the bathroom, the old white man gave Xiao Fei an evil look. Xiao Fei snorted. When he entered, he was searched by the bodyguards at the door. They weren't allowed to bring in any weapons, including high-tech scanners. So Lu Yan didn't let him bring a pistol or a dagger. So in a while, 10 minutes later, the old white man came out impatiently. He was wearing a loose white bathrobe, and a black whip had appeared in his hand out of nowhere. There was even some dark red stuff on it that looked like dried blood. "Let's start with the most basic one. What do you think?" Smith asked with a smile. "Sure, I have no problem with that." Xiao Fei was extremely calm. "Baby, take off your clothes first and put this on." After saying that, the old man took out a set of leathers that were specially made for dogs' necks from the cabinet at the side. There were also heavy chains on it. Xiao Fei lowered his head and slowly picked up the chain, weighing it in his hand. "Take off your clothes," the old white man said condescendingly. Xiao Fei remained unmoved and sat on the sofa. The old white man seemed to have lost his patience and whipped Xiao Fei. Xiao Fei was quick to react. He grabbed the whip and held it tightly. "You dare to disobey me?" the old white man asked. "Why should I listen to an old pervert like you?" Xiao Fei asked in fluent English. "If you're obedient, I'll let you go after I'm done with you. But if you don't, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. I don't mind telling you that every month, I'll cripple a few Asian men like you. They include students, models, and actors." The old white man smiled viciously. "Oh really? Then you can try it on me." Xiao Fei's tone was as calm as ever. "Kid, don't be so ungrateful. I don't have a good temper," Smith said as he walked towards Xiao Fei. Chapter 31-34. What a coincidence. I don't have a good temper either. Xiao Fei stood up slowly. The old man lunged at Xiao Fei's face. Before he could grab Xiao Fei's collar, Xiao Fei grabbed him by the neck. What do you want? Can't you see?" Xiao Fei glanced at the old man's face coldly. "Do you believe that I'll call my bodyguards right now?" Without waiting for him to finish, Xiao Fei put the dog leash that he had been fiddling with for a long time around his neck. Then he tightened his grip. Cough. Smith wanted to scream for help but couldn't even make a sound. "I won't kill you immediately. I'll let you hang here half dead," Xiao Fei said. Then he forcefully dragged Smith's broad body all the way to the hanger. He pulled on the chain around Smith's neck, and in this way, Smith's entire body was suspended in the air. He wouldn't die, but he felt terrible and couldn't make a sound. Xiao Fei didn't hurry to leave. Instead, he dragged a chair to the old man. Then he took out his cell phone and started playing games to waste time. Smith didn't expect to meet a ghost after walking in the dark for so long. After torturing so many Asian boys, this was the first time he met someone so terrifying and cold-blooded. Xiao Fei's movements were so clean that he didn't have time to call for help. There were no sounds of fighting in the house, so the bodyguards outside the door couldn't find anything wrong. Smith's expression showed that he was in so much pain that he wanted to die. But Xiao Fei could still play games on his cell phone calmly. He was even in the mood to call the landlord. In less than 15 minutes, someone snuck into the house through the window. "Young Master Xiao. Lu Yan's female subordinate was very agile. Where's she? Boss didn't come. She asked me to pick you up. Are you okay? I'm fine. Sco. Don't we need to kill him? The female subordinate seemed to hate the old man. After all, he had flirted with young Master Qiao. Oh, if he dies, we'll have a lot of trouble. If we just leave like this, won't he be hanged? The female subordinate was also a little worried. She didn't seem to understand Qiao Fei's thoughts. No, half an hour later his bodyguards will definitely come in to check if there's no movement. All right, let's go then. Before leaving, Qiao Fei walked up to Smith and said slowly, Jin's men will come and help you down. But you better be smart. If you dare to cause trouble for us, your mansion will be razed to the ground. I'm not threatening you. You should know how many bombs Lu Yan has. Smith couldn't speak and he couldn't answer. But from his eyes, it was clear that he was terrified. Then Qiao Fei and Lu Yan's female subordinate left Schmidt's house. Where are we going to find her? Boss said that young Master Qiao has worked hard and asked me to book a seat for you to have a sumptuous lunch. What is she doing? Qiao Fei asked. Boss found 5 islands that are particularly good from the information on those islands, so he sent a helicopter over. Hey, can't she wait for me? Qiao Fei was displeased. Boss said that young Master Qiao. The mission is too tiring and you should wait for her in Sydney. Qiao Fei, boss asked me to stay and protect you. I'll take you to lunch first, young Master Qiao, the female subordinate said. No, I'm not hungry. Do you need me to find a hotel for you to rest? No, I'll take a walk alone. You can go to your work. No, boss asked me to protect you. The female subordinate was stubborn. You protect me? Is Lu Yan drunk? Qiao Fei was furious. He didn't know what was wrong with him, but he got a female subordinate who followed him like a tail. Not far away in a black Toyota, a man wearing sunglasses was quietly watching this scene. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.